At a recent financial conference in New York, new Chelsea owner Todd Boehly amazed the world by suggesting that the Premier League hold an all-star game. What an interesting concept. Now, we could argue all day and night whether that's a good idea, but instead of doing that, we decided just to pick the teams and see whether it would be fun. So I'm joined today by John Mackenzie and Liam Tharme. We're representative of the North and a representative of the South to have all-out regional war. Let's begin. Let us begin in the North with Jonathan Mackenzie. Now, John, there's a few rules that I need to set out for the people watching at home. The first is, and this is quite similar to how American sports would do their All-Star weekend, you can only pick a maximum of a certain number of players from each team, because otherwise I think we'd just pick the entire Manchester City / Liverpool side. So we've decided here 3 maximum from each team. Therefore, I expect there's a couple of positions that you have to pick from a different team for.
Yeah, and I think that's really what's determined my team, because as you will see, the 3 best teams in the North I've picked 3 players from. So I've picked 9 players from the best teams, and then filled in the rest.
Where would you like to begin?
Let's begin up front, Joe.
Where else?
Erling Braut Haaland, the best striker in the world.
Yeah.
Maybe even the best player in the world.
He's the best.
He's the best. He's wonderful.
It needs no further explanation,
Yes.
does it? If you didn't pick him, you wouldn't work here.
Yeah, I'm going to stick him at the back post, and he's just going to jump in the air and score with his left foot, about 12 feet up. That's the game plan.
I would say that's the back post, though, because of what you have here.
Ah, interesting.
Yes.
That's a very good segue, yes.
Thank you.
Well, I've brought in Kevin De Bruyne, who's another Manchester City player. He's going to sit around in the half space and... Can I draw on the board?
Why not?
We all know that Kevin De Bruyne plays these wonderful passes, doesn't he, from the half space?
But there's another player in your team that plays wonderful passes from the half space.
Yes, Alexander-Arnold, who is not a Manchester City player, so we've broken the chain, but he's also going to sit here. And people would say, well, you know, are they going to get in each other's way? And I would say, probably. But also, to those people, these 2 players are both going to play those crosses, so twice as many crosses, right?
Double trouble.
Back to Manchester City. Rodri, one of my favourite players.
Yes.
I went to go and watch Messi play at the Etihad the other day. I say the other day, it was last year, but
Yeah,
I went to go and watch him and
Yes.
ended up just watching Rodri the whole time.
Right.
Couldn't take my eyes off him.
What a wasted journey.
Yes. So he's going to be my pivot player. He's going to anchor everything defensively, but he's also going to be the means through which the ball progression happens.
Fine. Lovely. Well, that's a nice pick. Where are we going now? Let's
Well,
just
let's go back to
Manchester City
Liverpool,
players
shall we?
done. Yes.
Yeah. So we've got Alexander-Arnold already. Mohamed Salah. Maybe not the best season for him so far, but you cannot turn him down.
You
as
couldn't
an
leave
option.
him out of the all-star game, John. No.
He is one of the many stars.
He is.
And to have all of them, he should be there.
Yes.
And on the other side, then we've got Luis Diaz, who is another exciting player on a wide area, coming a little bit more inside maybe than Salah these days.
Truthfully, a delight. Yeah.
And he could come in and help Haaland jump up, hit the ball in with his left foot really high in the air.
Sure.
Perfect. And that leaves us with the other good side
Right.
in the North, which is...
It appears that you've picked almost all of Manchester United's defence here.
Yes.
Yes.
I have. And there's a number of reasons for that. One of the reasons is that Manchester United's defence, regrettably, is turning out to be quite good this season.
Right.
I went with Martinez. I could have gone with Virgil van Dijk, but obviously if I was doing that, then I wouldn't be able to go for some of the other options. So I went with Martinez because Martinez, I think, is 1, much better defensively than people realise. 2, he's had an excellent season in terms of ball progression as well. And 3, everyone gets wound up because he's too small to play in the Premier League. So
Sure.
a bit of an entertainment factor here.
And of course, there's no height requirement for the Premier League All-Star game.
There is not. And there's also no defending requirement. So I put Malacia in as well. Might be a little bit weaker on this side, but a really, really nice player in build-up. He's going to be able to invert. He's going to be able to get down the line. You know, all these things that people like.
All the things a fullback does. Yeah.
Yes, but obviously we do need to have someone who can defend, so I went with Raphael Varane.
French World Cup champion, Rafa
Yes,
Varane.
you like to keep reminding me because I did originally have someone else in that position.
Yeah,
but
who was that, John?
I put Nathan Collins of Wolves in that position because he's also a very good defensive centre-back, and I thought he'd earned a place in the constellations of the All-Star game. See the metaphor I used there? There's a star
Stars.
constellation metaphor, yeah. And that meant that I had 9 players
Yes.
from the best 3 teams in the North. In the North!
In the North.
And that meant I had... That's how I actually speak normally. Joe doesn't let me speak like this on camera normally.
That's
I'm
right,
allowed
yeah.
to for this one, right?
Well, you're very welcome to do whatever you like here at
Thanks.
Tifo, you know, even if it is painfully unfunny.
Don't believe him. Goalkeeper, I wanted a goalkeeper who was going to be good at playing out from the back. The two options were Nick Pope and Meslier. As a Leeds fan, I went for Meslier. I think he's slightly better on the ball anyway. And he's also a very good shot stopper, which is presumably with this defence what he'd be doing a lot of. That leaves one position. I had an 8 spot 3, and so I put Bruno Guimaraes.
The Mercurial.
Bruno Guimaraes.
Yes.
Yeah, the Mercurial.
The northern accent is so lovely.
At this time of year.
It really is.
Yeah, it is. And so obviously De Bruyne a little bit more of an attacking presence there. Guimaraes is a good ball carrier, but he could also drop in, help out.
I have to say, I was expecting when we decided to make all-star teams that they would be ridiculously attacking, but this is rather well balanced, isn't it?
Yeah, I like to think so. Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to just throw on attacking players, but you've got to entertain people at both ends of the pitch, right?
Sure.
No one wants to just see a 9-8 game, do they? Do they, Joe?
I don't know. Shoo now. Well, let's move on to the south and see what Liam Tharme has to offer. Okay, Liam, it's time for the south. Tell me what you're doing here.
Well, unlike John, I've gone for a bit less balance. I thought all-star game, no one really wants to see too much defending, and when I was sort of very briefly, badly researching this, there's a lot more good attackers than defenders, so I'll probably start with a front 3, in all honesty.
Okay, well tell me where you want to begin. Should we begin with Kane?
Yeah, let's go with Kane. So for me, the second best striker in the Premier League behind Haaland. Don't think that's particularly much of a hot take. I figured probably best to partner him with Son. Everyone knows how many goals they score
On
together.
the right though, is that problematic for you?
Yeah, because I wanted Jesus on the left. So my logic is sort of akin to a Pep Guardiola Barcelona team. These sort of 7 can do their job defensively well enough. Those 3 can sort of do what they like. He'll often drop in deeper. He can go beyond. And hopefully they'll sort of figure it out amongst them. I trust that they're all rather good at football and don't need too much guidance from me.
Okay, well we've gone with Gabriel Jesus. Saka, his teammate here as well. It's a kind of Arsenal left side, isn't it?
Yeah, so I figured there might need to be some partnership. So you can see across the pitch we've got, you've got a Chelsea partnership there. We've got Arsenal down the left, and we've obviously got Spurs. So I thought these players aren't going to regularly play together. I know it's very vibesy, but we want some chemistry between them.
Now, you've also put White on the opposite side of where he normally plays. Is this a theme of your team to take players and put them elsewhere?
Effectively, yes. I was struggling for some real good sort of central defenders, having picked sort of a lot of the good players early on, a bit like with the North, the balance of where teams are in the South, were either sort of very South Coast or sort of Londony. And I went probably a bit too eager early on with having really good sort of forward players, and sort of ran out here. So it's slightly makeshift. I'm going to trust Thiago Silva to have a lot of experience in there and sort of do most of the marshalling. He's fairly quick, and he's very quick, so I'm going to trust that they can deal with some of the pace that we're going to have from sort of either side, and can play actually as a fullback as he has done this season.
Sure.
So
maybe with I know that Saka's played at wing back before as well, but I can see with Bowen and Saka at your wing back positions, probably is quite a lot of space to manage, isn't there?
Yes, probably quite a lot. I did actually toy the idea of inverting them and having them both sort of coming in akin to Salah and Diaz on the opposite flank, but I thought it's probably imbalanced enough already that I won't do myself any more damage there.
And for your real star power, you've got Thiago Silva anchoring the central defence there. He seems like an all-star player game, doesn't he?
Yes.
Game player. Why do I keep making things round the wrong way? Making things round. Making the wrong way. Things round. Who's Sanchez?
Robert Sanchez?
Is he the Brighton goalkeeper? The Brighton goalkeeper. Brighton,
and in a very simple piece of analysis, Haaland is very big, Sanchez is also very big, and he's very good at running out and catching balls in the air. So rather than try and stop him actually scoring, I thought let's get the ball before it gets to him. He for me is the best I had left.
That's a good point, because my question for you, Liam, was if Haaland's going to be at the back post here, and we have De Bruyne, Alexander-Arnold and Salah out here. At the moment, we're asking quite a lot defensively from Saka, aren't we? Of course, you picked this team without seeing John's team. Would you pick a different team now you've seen John's team?
No, because my logic is that if I attack well enough and have so much of the ball, we do our defending by not defending.
I like that's a real all-star weekend strategy as well, isn't it?
So John said no one wants to see a 9-8, but we might need to see one for my team.
I love it. Finally, Jorginho and Rice, a partnership we may well have seen in an alternative dimension.
Well, I figured there needs to be some balance in this team somewhere. Both are good ball players, both are good defensively, particularly good at sort of driving with the ball from deep before it runs into space. And I figure there's going to be a lot of space on this pitch at times, so there are a lot of attacking bodies.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've got Guimaraes, Rodri, Rice and Jorginho. A lot of heft in the central midfield areas in this game, isn't there?
Yes, a lot of heft.
If you love Stodge, join us at the All-Star Weekend. Well, and there we have it. That's the All-Star Game weekend. All that's left is for me to decide the winner. And it should be me, because I'm here. Now, John, positive points for your team, of course, very well balanced. I think on on the whole, it's fair to say you probably have the better of the players, talent-wise. But of course, what I like about what Liam's done here is he's really embraced the heart of what an All-Star weekend, I believe, should be. John Muller, of course, wrote a fantastic piece about this on The Athletic. You can go and read that. And one of John's points is that no one cares about the game of the All-Star game. They're just there to see some fun players. So on the balance, even though you've got the better team and the better players and probably the better structure, and maybe even the bigger stars.
And maybe even the funner players.
Apart
from all of those things, what have the Romans ever done for us,
all
Joe?
of those things, I'm going to anoint the South the victors. Just on the basis that their strategy is to score as many goals as possible whilst not at all defending apart from Thiago Silva. And that really is the spirit of the All-Star weekend, isn't it? Well done, Liam.
Thank you, elated.
And well done, John.
The North will not forget.
Well, they appear never to forget, do they? Yes.
My hands are so sweaty.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic brings you the best sports journalism in the world in a personalised experience, connecting you with the stories and teams that you care about the most. There's coverage of 13 sports, plus direct access to world-class journalists through live Q&As, discussions and podcasts. And you can try it now for free for 30 days by clicking the link in the description.